Best reward in my job is hearing people talking about their perfume when you have created their perfume.
Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. We're kicking off 2025 with a new series called The Nose Behind the Perfume. So in this series, I'll be presenting to you some of most renowned perfumers. And today we are starting off the series with the most famous perfumer right now and my personal favorite, Quentin Bisch, or Quentin, as the French people will say it. So Quentin Bisch is from France. He was born in the city of Strasbourg, and he actually comes from a performing arts background. So he actually fell in love with perfume from a young age and decided to go into the career, but he kind of faced some troubles at the beginning, as with a lot of people do in their career. And he finally found himself in the hands of Givaudan, and he started to learn more about perfumery from there. In one of his interviews, he stated how the process of learning about perfumery is incredibly rigorous. They have to memorize off by heart 500 different types of olfactory notes. In terms of his approach, Quentin's approach is very bold and creative, and you can tell by his use of accords in his fragrances and the types of notes that he uses. Another thing that's unique about his approach is his ability to adapt his style to tailor it to the brand that he may be creating the fragrance for. This makes him incredibly versatile as a perfumer, which some perfumers may struggle with adapting their style to different brands, but that's something that is to be appreciated about Quentin's style of perfumery. A big example I would say of this is with the Delina range. Delina Exclusive, for example, one of my personal favorites. As I have mentioned in previous videos, I think is a truly versatile scent. If I was to keep 5 fragrances only for the rest of my life, the Delina Exclusive will be one of them because I believe it applies to almost every occasion, almost every season, almost every mood. That is just really representative of Quentin's style of perfumery. Another unique approach that Quentin has to perfumery is with revision. I've noticed that he often goes back and perfects his creation by re-releasing a more intensified version of it, such as extrays. This highlights his dedication to the craft as he is perfecting his work as compared to brands which normally will get in a completely different perfumer to correct someone else's work in the past. This shows his dedication to the craft of perfumery and the fact that he is always willing to better his creations, which I appreciate as a consumer. I would say in terms of style, Quentin is known for using very, very bold approach to his fragrances. They're not demure. They're not fragrances that hardly leave an impression or announce your presence. Almost all of his fragrances are very, very intense. Like you just need 1 or 2 sprays in terms of like the concentration and the projection, and that is a common theme throughout almost all of his fragrances. For example, Hibiscus Mahajad, also Guidance 46, very, very intense, heavy scents that Quentin is known for producing. I would say one of the highlights of his career is definitely the Delina range. I think, in my opinion, that was his breakthrough for becoming one of the most famous perfumers of the decade. In terms of his first perfume, some sources state that his first ever perfume was Reminiscence Essence, which was released in 2010. Other sources mention that his first perfume was actually La Fin du Monde for La État Libre d'Orange, which was released in 2013. I will leave the notes and the pictures of both perfumes on the screen for you to analyze and let me know your thoughts. based on the notes I'm seeing, I think I'll be more of a fan of La Fin du Monde. A common thing that I have noticed across Quentin's perfumes, no matter which brand he's working for, is that he loves his oud, he loves his rose, he loves his incense, and less known, but he loves his raspberry. I'm a big fan of raspberry, as I know, and I'll be talking more about this in one of my future videos where I'll be highlighting my favorite notes. Some of my favorite raspberries by Quentin are Delina Exclusive and also Angel Nova. I think he's one of the few perfumers that has really perfected the use of raspberry, as I think raspberry is an incredibly overlooked fruit note that is very delicious. Now, let's get to the juicy bit, the part that everybody has been waiting for. What are Quentin's signature fragrances? So, obviously, we're going to do in alphabetical order by the brand. So, starting with Amouage, we have Guidance 46, then we have Azaro Wanted by Night, then we have the entire Good Girl range by Carolina Herrera. He released every single one of them. We have the entire Bad Boy range by Carolina Herrera, also done by Quentin Bisch. We have Bois Imperial and Bois Imperial Extrait for Essential Parfums. We have Fleur Narcotique and Fleur Narcotique Extrait by Ex Nihilo. See, this thing I was talking about, that he always goes back every releases an extrait. That's something I appreciate about his work. We also have, moving on, we also have Gucci Guilty Elixir Pour Homme, one of my favorite men's perfumes that I will be adding soon to my collection. Le Sel d'ici by Issey Miyake, a perfect base perfume if you are interested in layering, is even great by itself. The entire Jean Paul Gaultier range, he is responsible for it, yes. Teriac and Teriac Intense by Lattafa, Hibiscus Mahajad, and Tuberose Astral by Maison Crivelli. And then now for Marc Antoine Boira, we have Ganymede, Tilia, B683, and then all of the extraits for them. I think it's Ganymede Extrait and B683 Extrait. And then for Mugler, we also have Angel Nova, one of my personal faves. And then we also have for Perfume de Mali, the entire Delina range. Delina Exclusive, Delina La Rosée, the special edition Delina. And then also for Perfume de Mali, both of the Velayas, the Velaya and the Velaya Extrait. I just did a review about Velaya Extrait on my TikTok, by the way. And I included it in my video about romantic perfumes for Valentine's Day, so check that out. Then moving on to Penhaligon's, we have Terrible Teddy, and then Paco Rabanne 1 Million Parfum. Not the original, the Parfum. And that's just to say a few. He has many more fragrances that are really famous. It's not always a bed of roses in life, so I wanted to highlight some of the challenges in perfumery that I think he may be facing. I noticed how he is always pumping out new perfumes, so I feel like he is always working. Even last year, I had heard several rumors about how he is working with countless brands for this year. So I believe he is in very high demand, and there's probably a lot of pressure that is on him to constantly produce at his best, which is something that I think, he should take into consideration in the future. Like, when people are under pressure, that can sometimes affect their work. But I mean, honestly, everything he releases is great. So I don't think that is really going to be that. But I guess that's what just comes with the role of being a perfumer, especially when you're in such high demand and popular. An example of this was Balmain. So Balmain released their first ever fragrance collection last year. And I think they released like 8 or 10 or 12, something along those lines, but I will correct myself when editing the video. But at least 4 or 5 of those were all from Quentin. Yes, it's ridiculous. At least almost 50% of those fragrances from the Balmain fragrance collection were from Quentin. I think that's a huge sign of how hard he is working right now. I have also heard from industry insiders that, they're all trying to get a hold of him to work for their brand. And it's just been really difficult because he's so busy. So that's just something to bear in mind when you're appreciating his fragrances, that he does really work hard to put out the best work for us to appreciate. Quentin's impact can definitely not be mistaken, especially in this modern world, in the 2020s, and with the influence of social media. I would say, and this is a bold statement to make, but I truly believe this, I think he is probably the most popping perfumer of the 2020s. Of this decade, he is the most famous and most out there perfumer that we have right now. His cultural impact is of no doubt. He keeps on going from strength to strength, and all of his scents are viral on social media, as you may have seen, and popular with fragrance critiques as well. I think his style of perfumes also is very popular with the youth, who are driving the social media craze regarding perfume now. So I think that is also on his side. In terms of reception, how do the consumers receive him? I would say 100% he has a cult following. It's without saying. I am a big follower of Quentin Bisch. Anytime I found out that he's released a scent, or when I'm doing research on a brand and I see he's done some scents for a brand, I almost automatically go and smell that scent. And 8 times out of 10, I fall in love with. There are some scents he's released that I do not like. For example, the other two from Maison Crivelli, like Patchouli Magnétique and Ombre Chromatique. And I think, which other one was it? Ombre Imperial for Van Cleef. I can't stand that. So there are some stuff that I don't really like, but majority of his scents I absolutely love. So if I feel this way, I can imagine he has a huge cult following. In fact, I do own some of his own fragrances myself. So I currently own 3 of his fragrances. So I own Tuberose Astral, which is my personal favorite Maison Crivelli scent. I also own Delina Exclusive, which is one of the scents that I said is my top 5 all-time fragrances. And very recently added to my collection, I have Velea Exclusive. He hasn't actually been credited as the perfumer for this, but I'm going on my intuition and I think he is. A bit controversial, but there was actually a page about Velea Exclusive on Fragrantica a few weeks ago, but it's been taken down just before the release. So I don't know if it's got something to do with that. Who knows? Maybe they might change who the perfumer is behind it, but I'm going with my intuition that it was Quentin behind this. Alright folks, that's all for the Quentin Bisch episode. I did go lightly into his history and his work. I'm pretty sure there's more stuff that I didn't touch on, but leave any comments that you have in the comment section below. Let me know your thoughts on his work, some of your favorite fragrances from him, and what do you anticipate from him in the future. I'm very excited to see what more work Quentin pushes out in the future. And I'm happy that he's continuing to go from strength to strength as an admirer of his work. And I definitely know that there'll be more of his stuff in my collection. And I think, honestly, he's probably the best perfumer of this age right now. Thank you for watching. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye-bye.